Good afternoon, guys. It is the afternoon of Wednesday, July the 24th, and what a big day here on the ES, guys. We are down 118 points. We're down over 2% on a series of bad earnings. So a pretty interesting day to be making a video. Guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about my biggest mistakes in day trading, and I'm going to talk about what they are, and I know what they are, and identifying them so that I can stop making the same mistakes. Guys, number one, I have probably lost more money and more trades and had more frustration trying to trade the NQ, whether on prop firms or with my own in cash. If it's my own cash, it's the micro NQ. Guys, I just don't think the NASDAQ is for me. Okay, I don't think the NASDAQ is for me. This is not really a huge mistake, but with that being said, guys, yeah, the NASDAQ, I don't think the NASDAQ is my thing. So that's a mistake that I've identified. Number two, not focusing on one product. Guys, I see now that if you're going to trade directionally, or at least for me, what I want to do, I need to be looking at the same product like the micro ES, which is what I'm going to focus on. And I need to be looking at the micro ES day in and day out. Okay, so I need to be looking at the micro ES day in and day out. That's the same product, and I have said before, and I still believe this to be true, that this might not be the solution for everyone. There are different futures products out there. There are different things that you can trade. But as it comes for me and trading my own cash and trying to keep my money, there's no doubt in my mind that I need to keep to the micro ES, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, number three, and this is the one that has really probably cost me the most money, whether my own cash or in prop firms. And guys, that is adding on to losing trades. This is day trading, and while I can't say that this is a mistake for everyone, I can say it is absolutely a mistake for me. I cannot be trusted with adding on to trades. I get greedy, I get anxious, I get excited, and it is 100%. Dollar cost averaging or trying to add into trades is 100% the wrong thing for me to do. I cannot tell you that that's going to be a mistake for all of you. There are certain members of the trading community here that will advocate for scaling into losing trade. As for me, guys, I can tell you that my absolute worst days have always really come down to doing that. So if you can cut out that one behavior and just take repeated losses, frankly, if you're just on the wrong side and you continue to be on the wrong side and you're just not going to get on the right side for the day, you're going to be offside all day. Either you should stop trading or just take repeated losses. I mean, I hate to say it's that simple, but take repeated losses because you are going to have 2% days like this where you can blow out your account if you are dollar cost averaging. So guys, you cannot, I cannot dollar cost average. Dollar cost averaging is a huge mistake for me. And if I'm ever going to be successful at this, yeah, dollar cost averaging or adding on to losing trades, it cannot happen, guys. I just have to accept that I'm going to have losing days. I might have a lot of losing days and a lot of losing trades. I'm not an expert at this, okay? I make mistakes. I make big mistakes. But if I'm ever going to overcome those mistakes, I have to actually stop doing them, especially the ones that I'm identifying. So, yeah, adding on to those losing trades for me is a huge mistake, and it's really something that I terribly regret doing. I'm not going to spend my life, in regret, but it's true, guys. I've lost a lot of money by doing that. So I can't say that it's financial advice, guys, but for me, I would say, yeah, absolutely not. No more adding on to losing trades. Number two, guys, and that is adding on to widening the stop loss, guys. You really should never widen your stop loss. You should just get stopped out and lose that trade, unless you've misclicked. The only exception to that is you've literally you intended on putting a stop loss somewhere and you misclicked you clicked some part of your screen that you did not intend to click, that is the only time I'd say, okay, go ahead and widen that stop loss. Other than that, guys, if you were widening the stop loss because the market is just coming down to your stop and it's going to stop you out again, it's going to stop you out for the 10th time, it is what it is, guys. Sometimes you're just going to have losing days. You've got to accept that. And for me, widening the stop loss has been another critical mistake, because usually what happens with me is once I get in the hole, I start chasing, and then once I'm chasing, then it's over. Then it's a lot of money. Then it's hands over fist. So it's not that I start out undisciplined. It's that once I lose the discipline, then it's revenge trading, and then it's over. Then it's my account. Then it's a lot of money. So most of the time when I'm trading, I do pretty well, and I win a majority of the days that I trade, which is going to sound strange for somebody's telling you, yeah, I don't trade for a living. I'm an amateur day trader, and I have not overall found success. But it's not because I don't win a majority of the trades, or I don't win a majority of the days that I trade. Actually, I do. But the problem is that on a day like this where it's down over 2%, and I'm still looking for those places where you can long, and you can take longs, because usually the longs are gonna work here, probably gonna work here in the last hour of trading. Yeah, the truth is that I cannot allow myself to get into the hole to start. I mean, that's where it all starts, is when you get into the hole, you start chasing losses, at least for me. So what I have to do in order to prevent that from happening is I cannot widen the stop loss. Number 5, sometimes, and this is why I say sometimes, guys, because this is not always the case. I'm going to move myself up. Guys, sometimes I actually move that stop to, sometimes I use too tight of stops, which is going to be like, what? That sounds strange, but it's true. Sometimes, guys, you can actually use too tight of stops because you go too far in the other direction, and you decide, hey, I'm taking a lot of losses, so I'm just going to be really conservative. Guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but you can't go too far in the other direction either. At least I can't. In this video, I'm speaking about what my mistakes are. So on the same token, my number 1 mistake is adding on to losing trades. My number 2 mistake that I make is widening stop losses, because then that gets me in. When I take a big loss, that gets me in the hole. But do I sometimes just use too tight of stop losses and then get stopped out? It's a balance, guys. So sometimes I use too tight of stop losses, and that's just as much of a mistake. Not quite as much of a mistake, but it's also a mistake. Okay, my next mistake, guys, is not adding on to the losing trade. It's just putting on too many contracts on the first trade, and that's over leveraging. So do I believe that you can add on to winning trades? I think adding on to winning trades is something that you can and you should do. Absolutely. But for me, just putting on too many contracts, like 2 or 3 contracts when I should be having on 1, it brings me anxiety. It brings me concern, So it's a mistake for me to put on too many contracts. And what too many contracts means is, I know what it means. You'll know what it means for you. All right, let's bring this up to here. Okay, so just kind of managing a position that I'm working on here. Guys, don't put on too many contracts to begin with. And once you move the stop into profit, or you move it to break even, you have to leave it. You can't be moving these stop losses too much. And guys, I know sometimes you're going to move that stop loss to break even, and it's going to be frustrating. But the number one thing that is going to cost you a lot of money is chasing losses. So guys, over leveraging for me, yeah, putting on 2 contracts when I should have on 1 contract. And guys, yeah, don't add on to the losers. Number 7, I would say this is a mental thing for me, is just not accepting losing days. Because a majority of the days that I trade, I do win. But those few days that I lose, or the 30%, 20% of days that I'm losing, I lose a lot of money. And why is that? Well, for all of these reasons here. Number one, every time that I try to trade the NASDAQ, I just lose. I don't do well with the NASDAQ. I mean, I have made money from it before. I've made profitable trades on the NASDAQ, but for me, I know that it's too volatile, it's too crazy, it's a wild beast, and I don't have enough money for it. I don't have enough capital to trade the micro NASDAQ, or at least trade it well. So I just personally, I'm moving away from the micro NASDAQ, and I'm going to focus on the micro ES. The NASDAQ is just too much for me, which I know that people, when I'm making analysis videos, I've always thought, hey, people want to see analysis videos of the NASDAQ, but you know what? Ultimately, I'm actually trying to be successful at day trading. It's important to me that I can actually maintain. I don't even want to make money. I just want to keep the money that I have, preserve my capital. So, guys, I'm going to be making mostly analysis videos from here on out on the micro ES that are going to be short 10-minute videos, because I'm focusing on actually succeeding at trading. So I might do more video recorded sessions, and then uploading those. But I cannot trade the NASDAQ. Okay, look, I can't do it. I cannot trade the NASDAQ. Every time I try to trade the NASDAQ says no, nobody, you cannot trade me. So until I have some money, until I have some confidence, I'm just not touching the NASDAQ, and I'm calling that a mistake. Number two, guys, not focusing on one product. Have I advocated in the past? I've gone back and forth on this. In my opinion, as of right now, as I make this video, it is a mistake for me to trade more than one product, because I think it's just a mistake for me not to keep a consistent idea of what the micro ES is doing. So I'm just sticking with the micro ES, okay? I think it just makes the most sense. Then number three, guys, adding on to losing trades. This is the number one money killer, is adding on, dollar cost averaging. Guys, sometimes the market's just not going to come back. It's not going to come back, guys. It's not going to go in the opposite direction. And today it's a big down day. A couple months ago is a huge up days, and the market's not going to come back, and then you've lost your bankroll. So for me, it's a huge mistake for me to dollar cost average. It's just a massive, massive, massive mistake for me to do that, in all honesty. It's a big mistake. Number four is widening the stop loss. So, guys, the stop loss, if I widen it, that's just a huge mistake. Unless I've literally misclicked on the chart, widening the stop loss is a big mistake. Number five, guys, sometimes I just use too tight of stop losses. Number six, I over leverage. So that means coming into my initial trade with too many contracts. That's also a mistake. And then number seven, guys, not accepting losing days, not accepting the losses. Those are my biggest mistakes, guys. So just to recap, number one, I cannot trade the NASDAQ for my life. Number two, I cannot focus on one product where I should be focusing on one product. And that product's going to be the micro ES, certainly. Okay. Number three, if I add on to losing trades, I'm just adding on to my suffering. Number four, I widen stop losses. I trade the NQ when I know for a fact I cannot trade the NQ for my life. Number two, I put up a bunch of products here on the right side of my screen because they're flashing lights rather than focusing on the one on like the micro ES that I should be focusing on. Number three, I add on to losing trades when I should not add on to losing trades. And I know that I should not be adding on to losing trades. I do it anyways, which is wrong, which is a problem. Number four, I widen stop losses. I widen stop losses, and it's bad. It's bad, okay? I widen stop losses, and I should really just every single time take the loss. I should take the loss every single time without a doubt. So I widen stop losses. I'm a stop loss widener, and that's an issue. Number five, I sometimes use too tight of stop losses, okay? Sometimes I move the stop to break even because I'm scared and it's really too quick. I move the stop to break even too quickly. Number six, sometimes I come in with too many contracts. I come into my initial position or my initial risk is just way too high, and it should be one contract You know, instead of 2 or 3 or 4 on my initial position, it should be 1. And then number 6, guys, so that's over leveraging. And then number 7, I don't accept my losing days, where I should just be accepting some days I'm going to lose. And those are my biggest mistakes in day trading. Bye-bye.